Hello everyone, my name is Pooja Jagani. I'm a developer advocate at BrowserStack. Every day I see my toddler playing with blocks. They snap on, they snap off. She pulls them apart, she builds anything she likes and lets her imagination run wild. And while I observe her, it got me thinking, why can't test infrastructure be the same? Why can't it be easy, flexible, maybe even fun? And I think that's exactly the kind of thought process BrowserStack engineers had when they built the BrowserStack SDK. They wanted to make something that's plug and play, that makes testers' lives super easy. Testers don't want to tweak their code, figure out or fight integrations and config files. They actually want to spend time doing the productive thing that is build quality into their system. And as engineers, I think it's our role to remove friction for our users and not just ship products, but to think from an empathetic lens that can make our users' life easy. Um, Here we go. We have a simple project. It's a Java Selenium project where I'm writing tests for an e-commerce website. I'm testing if I can add Apple products to cart or if I can add Samsung products to cart. And I'm making sure that my driver is pointing to the hub URL of BrowserStack, and that's pretty much it. I simply snap on my BrowserStack SDK as a dependency. I can also use it as a plugin in any of the IDEs of your choice. And then we have a simple BrowserStack YAML file where you put in your details of your username, access key, the testing framework that you want to use, what platforms you want to run your tests on, a build name, a project name. This will be a unique identifier to see our things on the dashboard. Um, and then just identify what you want to snap on. You want to snap on Percy? Mark it as true. You want to make sure it's in manual mode? Okay, let's try that as well. It helps you with visual testing. You want to have accessibility testing? Why not just mark it as true? Add that option. You want some test reporting and analytics? We have test observability options as well. So what you were able to do is you were able to take your basic test case, yeah, is this existing thing, and then plug in cloud testing, plug in accessibility, plug in visual testing, and plug in test reporting and analytics. And let's see all this in action. Now, what you want to simply do is run your test using the SDK. Okay, we see we have our tests running. Let's see how our dashboards are looking. Let's see if we have something on the observability side for the current build. Okay. Let's go to the build runs. Oh yeah, we have a build that's running. Let's go to Percy and see if we have a new build that's come up. Yep, it's running something else. Okay, our tests have passed. Let's have a look at the dashboards. Yes, we see all the tests have passed. We see this in our automate dashboard. Let's have a little bit look at observability. Okay, we ran this just a while ago. And we see all tests have passed. You get to know the build history. If there, in case there is a flakiness, you get to see that. You get to see all sorts of details. Here you get to know your test summary and how stable your build has been throughout. Now for visual testing, we look at Percy. It has received the build. It's gotten some snapshots. So we decided that we want to actually capture the screen before we click the cart dialog. And this is exactly the way we're doing it. And we have snapshots for both. So this is for Windows and this is for Big Sur. And then you can identify if you want to request changes, review it, and how you want to proceed. So your visual testing is in place. Now comes accessibility testing. So we can see our latest build here, and you can see the issues that it has reported. How about we compare it to a build previously and see if we've made any improvements in terms of our accessibility? So I select a build that I just ran or before that, just the one right before that. And you can see that, oh, there are no new issues, but we've retained all the previous issues. They were not resolved. So you can see the severity breakdown as to how critical, serious, moderate, or minor they are. You can also see some health comparison. And these are the tests we ran them in. And in the retail issues, the detailed accessibility analysis for each thing, and a very meaningful way of what was the exact component and what happens exactly, right? So this gives you a very lovely insight about all the accessibility issues without actually having to write any code. And now let's look at the automate dashboard. I think it tells us all the tests run, the operating system it ran those tests in, And we can also have a look of all the details here. What were the input capabilities that were put in case something goes wrong, there are text logs to see exactly what happened each step, and you can kind of then replay that this is when it happened exactly. Like if you see, oh, this is where the URL was open, right? And you can always have a look and pick it from there. You can have a look at network logs. They have all the details of all the network requests that went through. You could study to then understand uh, where the situations that can be optimized for, right? And you can also look at the recording and see how your tests actually ran. So like we opened our e-commerce website, um, and then selected a product, added it to cart, and then ran the assertion that we were able to add the product to cart, and you're able to see that here. So if in case of error situation, we can actually monitor what then went wrong. So you saw BrowserStack SDK in action, and I think now you realize that for existing infrastructure, you can just snap on what you need. So in the real one is you're not rewriting. Say for accessibility testing, you just snap it on. You're not rewriting a code base or inserting any crazy scripts to get things done or reinventing the wheel. Say you want test reporting and analytics. You just have it out of the blocks. You just snap it in. And now comes a new requirement of visual testing. You were able to snap that back in as well. Let's talk about a little bit about flexibility. What if I just want any one? Okay. What if I want any two? Okay. You're good to go. What if I just want the base minimum, just running things on the cloud? Can I have that? Yes. So BrowserStack SDK provides you full flexibility to pick and choose what you want to do on the cloud, what kind of plugins you want to snap in. But again, it's with minimum to almost no code changes that you can then build this. And I think this is what solving real problem means. Solving real problem means looking at your users' frustrations with empathy and thinking how you can remove friction and make their lives easier. So BrowserStack SDK is not just that you run your tests in BrowserStack, it's so that we can sit comfortably in your current flow, current framework, current habits without causing a lot of disruption to help you build the better test infrastructure. And let's be honest, I think testers have enough complicated puzzles to solve. I think we'd rather use their time to do more productive things and building quality into the products, just like their job requires them to do. And ideally, testing shouldn't feel so much like a Jenga. It should feel more like snapping blocks. So I hope you can experiment Project SDK and have your fun. Happy testing.